Welcome to Louisville Metro Government's American Rescue Plan Grant Application How-To video. This video is intended for organizations that are interested in applying for grant opportunities that are funded by the U.S. Department of the Treasury American Rescue Plan, ARP. There may also be opportunities funded by ARP for private businesses to apply as vendors to provide goods and services to Metro government. However, the focus of this video is for nonprofit grant opportunities. In order to apply for ARP grant applications, it is necessary to go to the Louisville Metro bonfire site at louisvilleky.bonfirehub.com, which I will demonstrate. Once you type louisvilleky.bonfirehub.com into your browser, it will take you to this site that says Procurement Portal, City of Louisville. Your organization will need to register on Bonfire if you have not done so already. In order to register, go to the blue button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Click on the link under New Vendor Registration. Complete the fields that are requested and follow the prompts in order to create your account. After you have completed your registration, your organization is now ready to apply for grant opportunities. On the Bonfire site, you can see a list of projects that are currently being advertised. You will need to find the specific opportunity that your organization is interested in applying for. Currently, as I'm making this video, we do not have any nonprofit grant opportunities being advertised, so I will use another procurement opportunity to demonstrate. Go to the row for the opportunity that your organization is interested in and click on the button that says View Opportunity. This will open a new page that provides information about the grant opportunity. You will see a list of supporting documentation, which you will want to download and review, and a list of requested information, which are attachments that you must provide with your application. There are specific ARP attachments that I will describe later in this video. At the bottom of the screen, on the left-hand side, you'll see a button to prepare your submission. And next to that is the link for a new to Bonfire video. We strongly encourage you to watch this video, which is less than 2 minutes long, and it provides a good overview about Bonfire. The difference between that video and the one you are watching is that this video will also provide information about the specific ARP attachments required for your application. In order to apply, click the button for Prepare Your Submission. You will then follow the prompts and upload various attachments in order to apply. When you register your organization in Bonfire, you will be asked to enter specific commodity codes for different types of projects. Whenever a new grant opportunity is announced on Bonfire, organizations that entered those commodity codes will receive an automatic notification about the new opportunity. When you complete the Bonfire application, there are a number of ARP attachments that you must include, and these will be described in the following slides. The first is the work plan. The work plan is intended to be a high-level work plan where you will describe the milestones of the project, major activities that your organization will conduct, the resources that are needed, the timeline and duration of the project, and budget estimates for each milestone. In the supporting documentation in Bonfire, there is also an example work plan which you can use to see a demonstration of the kinds of information that are intended to go into each field of the work plan. On the screen now, I'm showing the blank work plan template that you would be asked to complete. After you have completed the work plan, you will save it and then upload it with your ARP grant application. The next application attachment that I will describe is the risk questionnaire. The risk questionnaire is used by the Louisville Metro Office of Management and Budget to determine the grant monitoring plan. It is not necessary to answer every item yes in order to qualify for grant funding. As you go through the risk questionnaire, you will see that it asks a lot of questions about your organization, and you may need help from others in your organization to get these answers. So we recommend that you look at the risk questionnaire early during the application period so that you'll have time to gather the necessary information. Also, realize that it is not necessary to answer yes to every question in order to be eligible for grant funding to be approved. There may be some questions that your organization does not currently meet the criteria for. And as long as the overall risk for the project is acceptable, Louisville Metro can still award a grant to an organization that answered no to one or more questions and will work with those organizations to help mitigate their risks and to meet any requirements that were not met at the time of application. So don't feel the need to find a way to answer yes to every question during the application period, but please answer the questions honestly. After the risk questionnaire, the next required attachment is the budget. Please complete the entire budget workbook, including the narrative and expenditure timeline at the bottom. The budget is in Microsoft Excel format. However, we can provide versions in Google Sheets or other software if necessary. If you are unable to use Microsoft Excel, please let us know, and I will be describing the process for technical assistance later in this video. This budget is quite detailed. The final budget in your grant agreement, if your grant is awarded, that final budget will be less detailed. The application requires more detail in order to ensure that your proposed budget is feasible. Please ensure that all expenses proposed for ARP funding are eligible expenses according to 2 CFR 200 and the ARP interim rule. And if you have questions about eligible expenses, you can ask during the application period. Again, I will describe the process for technical assistance later in the video. In the supporting documentation, you will find an example budget. However, the example budget is intended to illustrate the kind of information that is to be entered in each field. Don't feel that the specific items included in the example are supposed to be ideal budget items, but please use your own judgment in terms of the items to include in your budget. Here is the budget on the screen. And as you can see, there are columns for the total project cost as well as the amount of funding that will be contributed by this grant project. So if the grant funding that you are applying for will be supplemented by other sources, then you will list those as well. If this grant will pay for all of the costs of the project, then the total cost column and the column for this grant will be the same. And as you can see, as mentioned earlier, at the bottom is a budget narrative where you can enter any comments or notes about items listed above, and an expenditure timeline. The next required application attachment is the Key Performance Indicator Logic Model. Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs, are required for ARP projects. KPIs should include both output and outcome measures. We are using logic models because they are encouraged by the compliance and reporting guidance provided by the Treasury Department. There's a detailed PowerPoint slideshow in the supporting documentation that helps to explain the difference between outputs and outcomes and provides a thorough description of logic models and how to create one. This is what the KPI template looks like. And as you can see, it includes the template that you must complete, along with instructions and definitions, and an example that you can follow of a completed KPI logic model. The next required attachment is the equity questionnaire. Louisville Metro government values equity, and the U.S. Treasury guidance requires us to take equity into account in the spending of ARP funding. There's a list of equity questions that you must answer as a part of the application. The equity attachment is a Microsoft Word document, and you will go into the document to answer each of the equity questions, then save the document and upload it as an attachment to your ARP application. In addition to the attachments that I just described, there may be additional attachments that are required for specific grant opportunities based on the nature of those projects. However, the ones that I just showed are universal requirements of all ARP projects. But please read the instructions for your grant opportunity carefully to see if there are additional required attachments. We offer technical assistance for applicants. In order to receive technical assistance, please send an email to accelerator@louisvilleky.gov. Now, to explain the difference between project questions and technical assistance covers the process of submitting an application, not advice on the content of the application. There is a deadline for technical assistance that is provided in the original announcement of the grant opportunity. Please make sure that you use Bonfire early so that if you run into a problem, you can ask for technical assistance before the deadline for technical assistance. If you have questions about the project itself, you may also send those questions to the same address, accelerator@louisvilleky.gov. Any answers to project questions will be shared with all applicants, and there is a separate deadline for project questions. So please be mindful of those deadlines so that you can ask your questions in time to meet those deadlines to be answered, and then include the results to meet the final application deadline. This concludes the video. If you have any additional questions or have any feedback regarding the video, please send it to accelerator@louisvilleky.gov. Thank you.